power tools out of the US efforts and more control. The information leadership American parts of the people who are low cost and go to the film to restrict the main powers to rapid growth, closing the gap competition, and virus escalation will be our system and on table, even more from your parts protection and physical competence to be marches to the government, the physical possibilities to be bold and activated context, nuclear war, terrorists, and world in 9. The Great Russian lesson including the national competence, war, conflict, right persons, the right of the Alpha, the mutual enemies, the president, safe, the music invasion, the right of the church, the invasion, the control point, so like that's not the person competent, the research, the European policy, culture, the lessons, the government needs to determine the church, to access and cooperation with collective difficult dog world. Advantage 2 is warming. Global warming is built to reduce climate change to under 10. Temperature increase as global warming or global temperature research estimated to accessibility and safety critical countries so control areas and data to light and water to provide a critical now prevents extinction. Morgan and 9. Global warming may lead to runaway emissions, nuclear rise, rises, development, extra restoration, right property, and the warming is going to help you to break false news, not dominated damage, and now the past rate is one of the strategy as we now see so much dry, this towards the increase and warming to the same extent, the risk quitting and reductions keep avoiding extinction major 10. Without early and severe reduction in emissions, countries like the past countries, food on private economies, stable your classes, above times, and nuclear countries, goes civilization, so person research for change contact conditions, and technical assistance to renewable significantly reduces greenhouse gas and COGAF 12. The Deputy Project posting the question BT use limit research like the back field, technical expertise, attorneys that work with the BT especially valuable and context of this more public sector companies build the basis of involved mitigation adaptation projects, technical system funds and highly capacity and experience program manager. Mexico is key. First, they have enormous renewable energy potential with 10. Number state cooperation, renewable energy, market out integration, electricity, funding programs, the government department, experts, renewable privileges, potential very renewable energy, powerful coverage, and airline cycles that are Second, Mexico will spread the green tech globally as can as well. Electricity connection would increase use of renewable energy grid to the right Mexico future supporting connection and the American grid with all the wide markets of clean energy and free tax. Third, Mexico leadership needs to build climate agreements with Meal 13. If Mexico addresses challenges of powerful international state, already forced the G20 of global level to teach Mexico power worker in global solutions help to start new climate accords. Plan. The United States government should increase renewable energy systems of Mexico to support environmental water efficient. Follow. The technical system of the USDA 12. See if the environmental technical system grid and government partner will need to work with SCT multi-modal natural plan. They can consider Mexico SCT helping develop modern Mexico infrastructure. And expanding the ECC role for the facilitating Mexican green economy program 12. The DCC demonstration on capacity injection and process organization is going to go and technical product. The C resolutions for identify regulated BCC programs is going to benefit opportunities to provide proposal. The programs that you see in the sector required leadership to have access to organizations for private factory success, given American environmental support, we see professional plan development, and energy, systems, and renewable self-equipment outside expertise and key 13. The Rose PV can also over 25% moderate, nuclear Mexico's energy manufacturing is very small electricity and export electricity in the U.S. There is no nuclear question, no nuclear goes to the part training to report quickly and by Mexico, Mexico, energy. And the ECC is the key candidate by that system, program 12. USA is involved in communication projects involved in Mexican municipalities by urban adaptation projects supporting the nation from the impact of the government program sector by the organization to assist the policy funding needs towards the issue directed on the environmental the BCC is one of the law these type of goal. And the U.S. is key part Russian 12. Headlines reflect the translation to U.S. Mexico, new vital capital energy, U.S. must the arbitration with bilateral trade collaboration lines, clean energy region, private partnership, clean energy, European economy, and suffering the border region, time to produce clean free air, and Mexico border, that's special research, mutually focused, stable energy, economic development, and trading opportunities, real time financial support, communities, each to report development party, increasing the war practice, create peaceful, leader in the future. And so is the federal government specific assistance to the good tech. U.S. involved in Mexico renewable energy potential dividends. Mexico and U.S. benefit imports energy in South Florida potential renewable energy to south of the border. It will require mutual intent and mutual issue to make progress. It is vital that finance are using to provide American investment to the human capital bring benefits and more should be done to Mexico renewable energy sector holds enormous potential. Excellent. 2 big points and then we'll do the cross how important it is that the 1AC start just a tiny bit slower. At the speed that Kyle started at, if you weren't used to his voice, then you would have recognized how long it took you to get used to it. Now, he was crystal clear. It was not like he was saying anything you couldn't understand, but just the length of time it takes. If this was the TOC, no problem at all. I didn't expect you to know the arguments, but at the very round one of the year, it's worth going a tiny bit slower. Number two, notice that Kyle used a vocal envelope to let you know it was time for another card. What did he say? And. All of you all caught that. Exactly. That was a signifier. Different debaters use different things. Some people say and, some people take it a pause, some people will say next. Whatever it is, that can be very helpful in signaling the conclusion of piece of evidence. With that being said, let's do 3 minutes to process.
Do you think you've read a card in the 1AC that uses the term economic engagement or engagement? I found a card that in the underlying portion said engage.
All of our cards are about technical systems and trade-based systems.
Read me the best line in the 1AC that you think speaks to why the act is economic engagement.
I mean, you haven't read the definition of economic engagement, so
Which card says if you do anything that is at all related to the topic?
you haven't read hospitality yet.
The Wood evidence says that there's a number of studies that call for integration. Why is integration necessary for self-employment?
The evidence is talking about policy coordination, and the only way to do that is to build U.S.-Mexico ties.
My question is not about the intelligence, it's about the necessity of integration. Why is it necessary?
I mean, integration is more the internal link for our economy advantage. Which card do you
Piece of Wood evidence says a number of studies have called for the creation of North American renewable energy markets without adequate integration of electricity transmission systems. It goes on to say that's important. My question is why?
That integration occurs at the level of the Border Energy Cooperation Commission, right? They buy national.
Why is that important for warming? That's my question.
Because that's the only way to get technical expertise to Mexico so that they can take
Okay,
advantage.
the rest of this evidence says, unfortunately, we're still a long way away from such integration. There's a lack of knowledge about the full extent of renewable resources across the region differences regulatory regimes within and between countries remain an obstacle. A comprehensive study is also vital, and then it lists 4 other things about a lack of awareness of the executive branch and a focus on oil. How does they have about any of that?
All of the things that we've just talked about are resolved by consistent plan.
Which card do you have read that says a plan is capable of prolonging things like the federal government in Mexico not wanting to do it, or their focus on oil?
Well, the U.S. government is fiat. In Mexico, it's the fact that they want assistance on energy projects.
The DeLong evidence in the underlying portion says that the economic crisis needs something like a new Deal, as well as increased financial regulations. What does he have to do about either of those things?
The plan increases growth by other means. That's just a series of suggestions about other
It says absent a large fiscal stimulus, would you contend you're entitled to the advantage of this fiscal stimulus?
We would say that we probably need to plan.
Yeah, for sure. You know what this is.
I do. I know you do as well. The O'Neill evidence you read from the Intelligence of Global Climate Accord said they can quote help construct new climate change accords. If you were to cars, that those would be effective or cause a decrease in emissions?
Yes, the O'Neill card is the one that says that Mexico would be a power grid.
Reading a line that says those climate change accords would be effective, or that they would reduce emissions or bridge the divide between developed and developed
Right, as
countries.
our evidence says, intentionally Mexico would be positive.
I mean, read me the best line that says, read me the line you think says that it would be effective when other countries like the European Union, I guess that's not a country, it's a bunch of countries, when they failed previously, what does Mexico do differently that brokers those accords?
Okay, Mexico is not involved now. The evidence says that if Mexico were to get involved, because of the major
They would construct new accords.
it would be able to
My question is about the effectiveness of accords. If you read a card that those would be effective.
The fact that Mexico, all the text above that indicates that it would be successful.
I'm sure it's not just
First is how much ground was covered. Oftentimes you all get fixated on one question. You all get a person to admit the public knew that the point of the process wasn't to persuade Kyle, to persuade you. So when he asked the question, he got 2 or 3 answers, he moved on. In addition to the ground, even though he was asking about cards from what I see, they were all leading questions. So he would read a quote aloud and then say, do you think you have a card that proves this? That's a yes/no answer. That's not explain to me how your app fixes this. He used that follow-up after he got the direction from the decision tree. Additionally, it should be crystal clear, Papas did not ask a question that he did not know the answer to. He did not ask a question that he did not know the answer to, or know an acceptable answer in his head. And when Kyle deviated at all from what he was looking for, he was able to say, no, let's bring that back in. The flip side of the concept is awesome is that Kyle has mastered the use of sarcasm to demonstrate when he thinks a question is too absurd. So when Papas asked questions that were leading questions with a very high threshold, do you have a card that says your app solved everything?
Kyle was able to use nonverbal communication by rolling his shoulders back in his arms and communicate through sarcasm. No, I don't have one card that says I solve everything, in a way to demonstrate to the audience that the question in and of itself wasn't legitimate. Following it? Excellent. Spirit for the 1 to 6. If it's not loud enough, you should give like a thumbs up and I'll pause for one minute. Six all collections forming. Six all collections forming. Alright.
Politics, DIR will pass the PPP benefits linked to the different legislation of free passage and immigrants. There will be even more health concerns in the House of Course will pressure from reform legislation effective balance and ability to defend for Washington. As a realized political gridlock and missing, Republican establishment will be difficult, but I'm looking forward to the OQ, along with the political pressure and figure mental health voting comprehensive, reform and the plan takes political capital. Controversy Wilson, 13 U.S. and Mexico have an important choice, given the job creation and growth of U.S. and Mexico are but eliminated. Understanding of the action nature of the U.S. Mexico economic relations month, helps make sure that action become politically divisive and that it's key to the economy and the agenda turns the entirety of the app 9 until the years will be on the agenda policy and words of prevent the kind of U.S. power America, maybe what is Democratic highly relevant to economic power revolution of fully raising burden immigration, because the government of the United States still deliberately more too long, to growth and strong relations between the U.S. and forward, the U.S. is really more of benefits of soft power and upward, but willing to attract the U.S. back and forth self power immigration and China will not pass the U.S. because the U.S. is trying to separate it, and immigrants will have to maintain the strength of the U.S. next. Is DIPCAT, Gary DIPCAT is time now solved in the India-China conflict grid to 24. Period is the focus on for cooperation and try to create visible mark the first U.S. legislation trying forward and present the clear China to threat of census law, behavioral reinforcement of the system versus bringing Indian lessons to the world of the U.S. and the reach the U.S. towards Indian citizens China to help, China and the plan Sheldon Anderson into. Foreign policy is back to the good issue that we sit down Western and focus on other issues creating conflict in the Asian countries, on where there's the international policy group with resources needed international and diplomatic currency is finite and strictly important that the U.S. focuses diplomatic efforts on issues of paramount importance, nuclear weapons, Holocaust, and 2. China could react to the use of nuclear weapons or bring nuclear Holocaust, if any. Russia or American nuclear weapons will launch nuclear weapons to the end. All they have are next. Shown that Mexico is complicit with human rights violations and HRO concerning evaluating policy 212. UN experts expect the government to protect human rights for regulatory involvement of military installations and use of force in the country. The need to keep it supposed to be a guiding star of all policy and the impact is mortality voting issue, various and ignite. There is more respect for all the rights for all in the world order from the community and the constitution not only rights that violations when actions from moral order the order of community standpoint and controversy reinforcing moral community moral community that we must more violations of human rights and violations of human rights like rejecting and such, but we can implement multi-other moral order so that they have a moral effect on the human rights that they can by moral order not be achieved before its next is fearless. The act watches over green issues, which watches over the economic inequality, the impact is really an extinction moving aid. Market economy capitalization and destructive developmental credits to local teams on the risks of inequality is frequent, consumerism, the need for nuclear production, existing power relations aid, are recognizing new technology, reduce legitimacy of the trade, watching unsustainable economic necessity, American global capitalism manager and system become a business economy that is further closing our balance system and convenient, treating political centers over existing capitalism, democracy, and ecology, the planet might satisfy along with the sea, and the ecological society, working the land of ethics and planetary environment to the United States for maximum ecological and economic stability, and the alternative is to go negative to reject the justification behind economic injustice in the 118 solve extinction earlier in 10. I didn't know what was possible to utopian building and ultimately to be by political and social, movement will have to engage in the discussion policy of liberalism and true regulation on America. These are the religious problems now the top of liberalism requires an important intervention by the state's problem of power and the most important structure system to open or supplementary and unexpected to offer people belongs to our identity and any allowing American people to be also unsettled and respected by identity and teeth. The act not topical provides renewable energy assistance to Mexico. Engagement involves diplomatic, military, economic, and cultural engagement resident in one. Defining each of the attempt to influence the behavior of the state's context from multiple areas, diplomatic, military, economic, cultural, and the term of economic engagement means explicit and sole linkage is the only right line geographic intent. The first engagement in economic engagement focuses beyond economic exclusion policy, conditional engagement, promises to state of economic benefits, unconditional engagement, hopes to result in independence will change, policy towards economic engagement, policy, focuses solely on economic matters. Voting issue first is when the state schools the topic working lines between economic and other forms of engagement makes any positive interaction with another country topical. It's impossible to predict or prepare. Second is negative ground. The economic limit is vital to critiques of economic treatise as and non-economic counterclaims. That's just a counterclaim. The 50 state governments should create an institution explicitly model off the World Environmental Cooperation Commission. The 50 state governments should provide necessary resources, both through and external to this institution, for the use and adoption of renewable energy assistance to Mexico. The 50 state governments should not attach any conditions to the aforementioned proposal and should institute relevant cost-cutting measures to make the counterclaim. The counterclaim of Will is their case GNPB and 11. Human state authorities for renewable energy policies in the U.S. developmental program, blood coordination effort based on the certification of renewable energy promotion in New Mexico, the agency to help develop necessary resources for renewable energy to minimize all of the state agencies responsible for this energy policy in the region, offering for an opportunity for renewable development with the benefits relations. Latin America impact on Imperial 9 parcel in 2K. Latin America has been a site of civil wars, social wars to Latin America, and America external destabilization, conflict, experiences maybe for other parts of the world with such conflict standing rate, and no impact on the economy, barring globalization first worldwide recession has no impact on the security landscape, not more than 3 dozen decades ongoing conflict can be attributed to the global recession, no up to the violence of the single season war destruction, cooperation, no efforts in challenging, and no solid trade wars emerging, interest rarely comes to signs of reward, and no nuclear terrorism, low threat, high security, Apollo 11. Despite dire hostilities between Hamas and Hezbollah, working with Mexico, different from the U.S. expertise that the Iranian finance practice are not crossing the border with lead. And these organizations want to start the border with high profile to let to get attention we want. Increase the number of the Iranians and from the U.S. forces consultant. This sort of minimal said the Department of Homeland Security officials critical terrorists such as President Obama identified the just carefully monitoring the potential threat along with border and response accordingly. And cooperation is high now. It's structurally resilient and includes investment in strengthening Mexico renewable wood intent. Cooperation between Mexico and the United States for renewable energy is long, multifaceted, and bilateral and bilateral relations is significant. Boost for long program exchange cooperation between the U.S. AIDs and Mexico long-term programs to increase renewable energy Mexico investment. Made by the U.S. government as well as have helped development and security of Mexico and all topics for relations, marine initiatives, and NAFTA have came in all into one. All major issues at stake in the U.S.-Mexico relations, immigration, labor, security, trade, environment, climate, human rights, law, experience, turning point, changes will be made blind, cooperation with healing, government, American initiatives will improve, cooperation, Canada, will accept the U.S. strategy, Marina, where it will be the government's NAFTA, 20-year mark, surrounding, 13 documenting areas for research NAFTA, evaluation cannot ignore the additional creation of millions of workers with material research and the use for distribution of wealth and environmental and social confidence both by investment and constructive industry. And economy is high now, consumer confidence improves 8 to 629. U.S. consumer confidence data at a 6-year high in Americans may not be about the economy. Consumer sentiment was 84.1. This is an improvement rising. Household wealth is main reason consumers need optimistic consumers. Confident watchers spending a company 70% of economic growth. Warning. Warning natural industry foundations of zero. Multiple studies confirm lead and all intent. Several recent studies demonstrated CO2-induced global temperature change irreversible on human time, so the number of countries in irreversible state. O2-induced climate change are stimulated by the centuries even after realization of emission alerts. Thermostatic sea level rise is expected after the facility emission composed by isotopes less drowning and lighter treating. Ensuing ice is from these factors of the Antarctic Pacific and Utah life of mining. A very big cooling, southern Maury, a software chip and intertropical converter system delayed on the Maury followed by initial year bus. And they have no evidence that China will get on board with the electricity that that's happened in process from 13 to birth. Our analytics capacity is obviously and also complete, and no modeling in China is structurally impossible down to 8. Authority over Chinese energy sector is fragmented policies and methods distributed government. There is nothing like to implementation which is now the effort. The government is managing the energy sector of China's administration is on much of the external solutions and already being questioned about the rating index on the Titanic and increased by conflicts of interest and fees. This is made the energy companies one important driver of China's infrastructure and management policy of various regions in the Chinese government is doing all they do is policy is to combat climate change. And they have no evidence that people will switch from coal or renewables. Additionally, can't solve warming without China 10 at all in 10. If China and the world are to avoid the worst consequences of climate change, then China's direct growth from the action emissions will be of the process. Those that have comparable deep emissions are rectified and those that have visible. How this is climate change and international cooperation is essential. And no warming is measured of 30-year period of equivalent to 5 PDOs, each to break intent. Global warming is over. Global warming is easy to confront and then needed to global cooling has deepened the PDO from warming to less mode back to satellite and satellite. And that is
Five things I noticed. Number one, she started up something other than tea. That's very strategic because tea is one of the hardest things to flow. You want the person to be used to the person's voice. Tea often has a lot of analytics and the definitions are very quick. So starting with something other than tea is very helpful when you get to the tea rate. Number two, she has lots of ability to label her off case. When you label the off case, next neolib, the judge doesn't spend the first 30 seconds trying to figure out what the argument is. They write down the neolib at the top of the flow and then they pay attention. Always label the off case. Number three, this witness was nice and diverse. There are at least 3 ways to win the debate. There's a theory threat from T, there's a straight up politics / case strategy, we did that with a counterpoint strategy, or there's a critique way to win the debate. 3 diverse strategies, all in one at T. Number 4, look at the time allocation. Exactly 6 minutes for the off case, exactly 3 minutes for on case, and each advantage is split exactly 1.5 minutes. What does that signal to the judge when somebody's time allocation is that perfect in the one at C? That it was practiced. And when it's practiced in advance, it shows the judge organization and preparedness. And last but not least, in number 5, she actually incorporated the cross-sex and analytics into her 1 and C. So all that cross-sex work done to make arguments actually made its way into her speech, which now makes it relevant for the debate. All right, ready for cross-sex? Let's go.
Staff, count okay? Great. Top gallery, you define engagement, and then each of them has like a sub sort of part of engagement, economic, political, diplomatic, etc. How do you define what is and is not economic?
our essence is diplomatic, military, economic, and cultural.
How do you know what a plan is which and it can be both, can be one? How do you know what the plan is economic?
Not energy, not renewables, not gas.
Where does that support any piece of evidence you really want to
Our
see?
piece of evidence.
How?
Doesn't say energy.
It doesn't say a damn thing.
It says economic.
Okay.
We may interject our second piece of evidence is about an exclusive linkage to something that comes with the economy. Your previous evidence said that the U.S. should offer support for the position of China to help deter China. Once the plan passes, why is China like, India's weak now, launch the nukes?
Not here, you can only do so much. You only have so much time. Your plan having to have enough time.
Why can't he make a phone call to China and be like, we're backing up
He's a
India?
busy guy. He can only do one thing at a time.
Okay,
That's what our
obviously you can't delegate to anyone.
Our Anderson.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. States, you say that the whatever the states do is modeled on the Border Environmental Cooperation Commission. What does that mean?
They create an institution that is legally equivalent to the institution of Vienna.
What does it mean to be legally equivalent? It's
Whatever
not
the plan does, the counterplan does.
States call the shots.
States,
Which states?
all of them collectively sit at the table. There's 50 governors. I'll say that the vice president is the one in the 51st vote. It takes the tie.
Okay, yeah. Any sovereignty advocates for any of what you just said?
The GM 11 evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, fair enough.
But it's not the same people as the act. Fair enough. So CIR, you say that it'll pass because Boehner will be convinced by Obama. What bargaining chips does Obama have with Boehner? Why can't Boehner sit on it? He has a majority that doesn't want to.
He'll be really unpopular with Republicans if he doesn't vote for immigration.
What?
For immigration.
How? What Republicans in the House
They
want
know an
immigration?
election's coming up, and voting against CIR right now would be really
How
bad.
many Latinos does Boehner have in the district?
Americans think that the economy is really important, and it would look really bad for Republicans.
Okay, so it's all about public pressure?
It's partially about public.
Okay, so your Wilson evidence says that U.S.-Mexico economic relationship, etc., has been politically divisive. So anything the U.S. does towards Mexico, divisive.
Not anything that targets job creation and economic growth in Mexico.
So
Our
everything I
evidence
just
also
said.
says the perception of that.
Okay, shunning. Why does, I guess, leaving Mexican border communities to starve without access to energy convince Mexico to like stop using military force and stuff?
You don't talk about human rights when you're asking for that.
That's no part of an answer to my question. I'm asking what about not doing the plan causes Mexico to change their behavior? To not do bad things to human rights.
We think the strategy of engagement is one that provides an economic incentive for continued human rights abuses, and one in which we cut off that economic engagement is one that disincentivizes them from doing that.
All right, notice a couple things. One, what did we ask about first? Status, done in less than 5 seconds. Didn't have to waste any time to cross seconds, but it always happens first. Make sure you don't forget. Number 2, Pat was able to cover 5 of the 6 off case in that cross section. The only way to get to a deal. In 5 of the 6 off case, he was able to ask cross-section questions about and create some sense of uncertainty in the judge's mind on a key question for each of the off case. Notice that he didn't care whether or not Sarah agreed or not with his assessment. All he wanted to do was register the objection with the judge and move on, which is a critical component of cross-section. You're not trying to convince the other person, you're trying to convince the judge. And likewise, Sarah did a masterful job of being the role patrol, which means you state what you need to restate, but you don't give away too much ground. She did an excellent job of answering questions with non sequiturs that frustrated Kyle, forced him to re-ask the question, and then she simply restated the position she knew she could defend. Now, as a judge, you have to determine where the ground is and where the level is at which she might go across the line. The judge will roll her eyes and say, come on, just answer the question. That's a fine line, and you have to learn how to master it, but she's obviously done an excellent job of it. So now, let's transition on to our 2AC.
So it's going to be relations, warning, key, counterplan.
So let's stop right there for a second so we can remember. Relations, warning, T, counterplan. We good?
Politics. Critique. Get cap, gunning.
Politics, critique, Gift cap, shunning. On the top, one more time, nice and loud.
Relations, warning, key, counterplan, politics, critique, gift cap, gunning. Declining Mexican relations with Chinese especially with the American persisting following including partnership with the other person of precipitate real seizures when Mexico's regional leaders chapter playing more than the city control chapter that from receiving American from that needs to U.S. war chapter invasion from the wars responsibly to defense. The U.S. providing investment for the overcome the combination of what the House of the U.S. and American tax margin behavior with the mechanism to U.S. Mexico security relationship collapse impacting the collapse the super session of total collapse and in major trust be protected the protracted flow of the broke reason where the fullness of Harrison Morrison that the comfort diversionary theory there of the some taking word contest impact to nuclear terrorism important security and such that collapses they say cooperation for the corporations behind such focus on security the security tank corporation there having 3 years old doesn't assume new security crime industrial trade substance they say alternative causality seeking says they plan solve the alternative causalities claiming cooperation spills over that nuclear intelligence evidence they see the economy is declining in such economic credibility internally not specific economic growth particularly consumer confidence is relative that's a 98 evidence 8% of unemployed held that to the unemployed habits. They say inevitable, milkshake warning is inevitable, there's no answer to runway threshold, obviously CO2 doesn't actually come out of the air with Morgan evidence and we have to stop passing the growth pressure, the growth threshold. They say no China adoption of all nuclear evidence, energy companies will remain important drivers. This evidence is all about how institutional energy policy from the level of the Chinese government is irrelevant. That's not our internal scenario. There's no impact to China adoption of important time frames. 2 decades, there's also no transition to renewable energy. There's no transition to renewable energy that doesn't account for transition to renewable energy. Instead of so the international co-op and there's marketing some that's the car systems they say no more nobody else forming now some sort of computer scientists other energy throughout space temperature country connections energy see that's the distribution human activity strong level right making one of their prices of the prices of the rates of the sustainable growth or very happily more emissions must decline rapidly. Direct aid to trade energy, coupled with 3.6 investment or forms of technology engagement, which is against energy and power direct aid trade energy, Format 13, U.S. economic engagement includes energy government, here market trade investment in energy and preferred transition in the context of adversary states, with the obvious Mexico government definition for allies, key to position, they define enemy engagement, diplomatic, military, and cultural complex, length, term, limits, resident list, 13 13F, for each country, plus sports, arts, and school, literature, checks, reasonability, distance, research, problem, and events, risk, logic, and account. There is no access to the North American Development Bank or the Development Bank. The ECC doesn't actually provide the money to facilitate trade applications. The complex organization uses zero money and doesn't support the cooperation, cooperation, financial drugs, networks, terrorism, that's corruption, the MBA networks, additionally, Obama is he can't break his promises that he's made to the end of the impacts, the anti-American, which impacts terrorism, additionally, some literature, keyboard, state, conference, for the term, state, conference, some deficits, nonsense, like this, no literature, deficits, impossible to be, not reciprocal, don't get one accuracy, make advice, and track mechanism, they shouldn't get counterplans, team, complaints are voted for 2 A's, to makes them possible to predict the strategy, that's why implementation to planetary combination of the place and communication to other children, to help speakers, legislature, one back to the backlash against the program, their own state, are they implementing additionally the conflict of politics, the vice president of the 51st Road Gas Process, do you think Biden is confident? Not to avoid delay? Probably not. The government is keyed up to motion and evidence of and lack of resources said that compared to frustrating reality for state governments that they do not sufficient government funds, taxes, and funds, maybe that'll help them get the fact of what the accepting people got to do, availability, taxes, and funds, the part of the project in the second additional conditions, and what they should stuff that forces the election police here that are forces big and something great that agrees that also making your additionally favors rather than demonstrates that education, one for your research, solve profits. Oh, internal research operations fixed for making the uniqueness, age, knowledge, policy, and possibility, and power of fire, and make limits on renewable energy transmission to the new about the energy movement of pollution, power, and capital, and even virtual water routine, and very routine, little people, ones and consider that has to do with the election movement has come out of the public interest in respect to the government, to the policy, to the table, about all in climate, concept, shipment, 6.5 from games, most controversial dress on climate change, politically, and about movement, rest of the position, one of the most controversial move all about the EPA, issue regulations, one past you, this will the defense of the center of the in the possible creature bring the public government against the and see the bigger about even and from the building for the last majority in there the University 27 there the requirement that the legislation jurisprudence has been all over the building they want to press the button any time on the French Congress you think has already been demonstrated the impact of access helpful to the 216 about they separate immigration needs and even Congress rich field that has the tool that about the people they should be seen that they have very specific return control Congress is top of the poverty green was secondary digital life and where the digital from home because people don't about negotiating programs so the right to their network my person Obama he said for the representative who said that's no immigration reform only 6.6 cents so much that who like to say that our immigration reform is like this and why it's into the large has no effect on the Republicans they have strong impression they don't want to the house of the head framework, they have the whole plan of that, population, frequency, are the only source of offense and energy, renewable transition, so the impact of the Luke Evans is talking about the destructive practices like oil, which we shift away from the extinction always into the convenience of people, the utilitarianism, conflict, the showing the second and to a station, is the care of the well, and we are like street possibilities, certainly related in the not taking separate pieces, slow distinction, extinction of level capitalism, improving climate rejecting local justice, back not engagement, you're all related, send building university by letting involved government not exit the answer, process is so building possible and after that full and hits and never to one language but that will be able to feel the movement of the use of the national consumer see the alternative to the plus my husband for stuff doing with the individual remains but the interaction is the consulting market possible encouraging more public and resource and ecological system 99% reduction in zero is possible and will work in better effect what draw the drawn from the outside means of democracy, currently 13, that was in democracy of popularity, needs to reinforce our rise from shared values, break from how people want the democracy, from technical stability, the independence, and the whole economic movements of having all food research and competition, and like that, not what it is that there's some work with delivering the government alliance of the passenger, that the private sector is production, improvement, speech, and extension time, and fact, the nuclear and problem for the because of but our plus of the democracy, country democratic war, their government, not the place and keep transacting laws, free market democracy, reproduce more of the democracy, strengthening free market politicians, that not be removed by not all things, or equal and some of the capital, and like more there's democracy, free market, system, more function, technically, it's all forced, and not the effective increasing just more working, trade laws, to work together, and come to the slim house, to support the outcome, knows, and dip cap, said, no, money doesn't talk to the capital, the BTC, actually, and more working, and just the ability to win negotiation mechanisms that have to mutually free off the year and negotiate the country state, the department of state information, just call it down and you'll say, let's draw a number of the initiative, the the June 13 USA, under converting into the continuing communities, how the US allocated 1.6 billion dollars for continuing international ability of the international organization, so interestingly translated 12 years, right, or the schedule relations with China source of the rule, and the resolution you can use in deeper economic integration would be involved in international, no, Israeli references the thing is about travel and state from the personal level between sexual trains and capital, not the things that are the policy like the American world country and sexual church and cost of capital, pleasure, 215 sexual church and what did it form to reverse, rather for the state parties reduce funding for diplomatic security and next week, the East even carry central letter, emphasizing customs for our ability to execute the policy of the U.S. diplomatic security, and our ability that the claim is more accelerated than the full accelerated will not show up, and the press which is going to get the diplomatic and China, relation to the European war stands well, China may make it cooperate with the also difficult West Lake conflict, China just had China in case of jail, hey, we come to the United States and have nothing changed, speech and get around the June and the children, and we have all these alternatives and international security overacting to show that drama, to kill you, to report the very that, to keep the opposition motivation, but not on the other hand, I know for a fact that Pappas owns Nike shoes, those are made in sweatshops, so we should all shun Pappas photos. Plaintiff bipartisan, this is not politics, by the way. This news to 12 quarter to that the foreign niggas of the from both countries and sensitive and articulate that the uncertainty that we break on it. Thank you. Immigration obviously doesn't solve the impact. All of their evidence is in the context of increasing high skilled workers. Not only are they not in there, but we're not suffering from demographic changes in status quo.
All right, round of applause. We're going to do two things. Fix your flow, and then second of all, pick what things you would have in the block and assign which speaker you would have do them. So write 2 and C on the top of your flow, or 1 and R on the top of your flow on the issues you think they should go for in the block. You have 2 minutes. All right then. I want to say 4 things about the 2 and C. Number 1, notice that we actually read evidence on the case. A 2AC that took the time to read evidence on key parts of the case, not just asserting that the 1AC answered everything, they actually saw all the points where you needed to read evidence. Number 2, theory everywhere. Lots and lots of theory. Not all of the use of theory, but lots of it helpful theory. We got states, we got multiple planks, we got condo, we got politics theory, we got framework. And that's just a couple things I caught when I wasn't even flowing. Lots and lots of theory in the 2AC. Number 3, offense. Lots of offense on most of the positions. There's a key point of offense that the 2AC has initiated, giving him a chance later in the debate. And last but not least, this is a key ethos moment in the debate. If you start to find yourself a little extra time and your partner prompts you, oftentimes what happens is the partner will say something like, the dissad doesn't solve, right? So the prompt was, immigration doesn't solve. A lot of you stop, look at the judge and say, immigration doesn't solve. Just repeat what your partner said. Cam embellished. He got what the partner was saying and then actually made a warrant. He said, obviously, that this ad doesn't solve because an add a warrant to it. If your partner prompts you, it's not just about repeating what they said, it's building off of what they said so it becomes an actual argument. So that being said, let's do 3 minutes of process.
Can we talk about your Chinese expansion add-on? What year was that evidence written in?
Yeah.
Has nothing happened between U.S. and Mexico since the April that relations aren't high?
Obviously, things have happened.
Okay, your evidence says a waning partnership leads to all these things.
That's the internal relations data. Relations plan that would probably qualify as the
Okay, your evidence also says the reduction in Mexico's democratic values, its economic power, and political stability, coupled with the dangers of drug cartelization, will limit Mexico's ability to become a regional leader. What is your evidence?
A, those are all impacts to a waiting partnership. B,
Where does it say that the U.S. Where does it say relations solving something the drug cartel expansion?
A, waiting partnership could precipitate regional and even international realignments. Those are all realignments in Mexico's
Okay, that's
foreign
fine.
border policy.
Why is your evidence coming?
Growth prices coming now, that was one piece of blank C evidence, an influx of renewable energy linkage in Mexico is critical to boosting our import market. Very what most non-economist thing, imports have actually hurt the economy.
Okay. One more question about your journey to China. Who's the author?
Internal to China,
Yeah.
in the 1AC or
No, your relations about China.
Dow 13.
No, above that, your internal government. What does disqualification?
Dignity of Brzezinski, former national security.
Okay, that's cool. Do you have any evidence that says China will join the grid? Do you have any evidence that says Canada will join the grid?
You didn't make it to Canada argument. You wrote that down in the speech. The argument that you made was that China would not.
So that's okay. Let's talk about politics.
Definitely make it.
You read evidence that says aid now.
Yep.
Your Lutheran evidence talks about aid. Why doesn't that take out your Lutheran?
What are you talking about? I mean, like, obviously there is aid in the status quo. Republicans like aid, but people plan to stop it. Offsets the legal effect. Planning political capital gives more political capital.
Okay, your Lutheran evidence doesn't say anything about Mexico, just as foreign aid, right?
No, that's not.
Can you
The Boehner, Farmer 12 evidence. Congress's top Republican called for deeper U.S. economic engagement with Latin America.
Okay, that's fine.
And then this news, the evidence talks specifically about.
Okay. Your evidence that the first part you read that says aid now. Your evidence in the underlying part says Mexico is cutting carbon now and encouraging others to follow. Why does that take out?
They are. They do not have the technical expertise. We have 3 reasons in the 1AC. They were allowed to indicate clearly in the 1AC why it doesn't solve. They were also all.
Okay, that's fine. Your climate summary, your guardian evidence. It says that it's unclear about how much political capital Obama will.
The card says, quote, political capital. Obama will spend aggressively pushing money.
Alright, another great cross-sex covered on the ground. And one of the things that was nice about that cross-sex is Sarah didn't get caught up in the mindset of saying everything Pam says is a lie. Right? Some of you will assert that there's no way the other person could be telling the truth. Instead, whenever it came read a quote aloud that Sarah thought was good enough for what she was looking for, you said, okay, that's fine, and moved on. That builds trust with your judge. It builds honesty with your judge if you're willing to acknowledge in a certain spot that a card says what you're looking for it to say, but she didn't let that be the end of the cross-section, just stand there and say, okay, I guess that's it. She actually moved on to a bunch of different issues. So now we're going to have some prep time, or you ready to go. So, let's see if the block is the same one you want. Some people are falling asleep, wake up, kind of make a decision. If you're just falling asleep, here's the debate, you're going to freak out on. The order.
Diplomatic capital. The neoliberalism critique. The 50-state counterplan. Politics disadvantage. The warming advantage. Cunning.
What is he doing?
The relations advantage. Topicality.
Papers. Is that Rolling Stones? Everything's good.
Diplomatic capital. Neolib-pay. Counterplan. Politics. Warming. Cunning. Relations. Teeth.
Benson.
Alright!
Wait, no, he's 2 ends. Maybe just
Just have that one for looking through the building sequestration, searching, diplomatic capital, the dirt, and if there's not take out politics, is there anything that's associated in the census from several months ago, Roberts about the current controversy that is occurring in the House. We'll see there's no need of China war states that the terminal impact of our atoms that said that India is a critical stabilizing presence in the region would be capable of de-escalating every form of Chinese expansionism. It also says that results in multilateralism which should de-escalate in turn without impacting. Hey, we are not going for communications are not having severely the type of competition is known to influencing neoliberalism is inevitable to democracy. Trade arguments are not often they cannot go, but this is the reason why only solid work to our Germany and economy arguments. One day, it's interested in the food plan and debate that those things into the kind of those just for shoot is more specific. The extinction outweighs them will be answered in the shunning case. This question of the atrocity, and it raises the question of the role of ballot and what you is an ethical decision maker in this particular debate. Counterpoint debate. We're also not going for communications are merely a test of competition. All of the theory arguments are reason to reject every kind of scheme. This turns not spill over and one so it isn't doing substance to be proceeded negative plus flexibility in testing the former multiple angles and resulting in an ideological division. The forces of their thinking on their feet is critical. Critical thinking will also concede that Obama will never break up promise and truths are coming in the case that relations are inevitable and are structurally so. Because Obama and UMICH have to keep their promises to one another. Takes up 100% of the case. The politics debate. The counterpoint text in the United States federal government should not promote renewable energy as per Tweezy, Capolanos, and Obama. Should not lobby for the climate relief package as per and the counterpoint is legitimate. In response to Tweezy argument that this is the only clear right line to what constitutes your counterpoint for. It is also constructive, which is the same threshold for the introduction of new counterpoints into the debate. The warming advantage assigns zero risk to disadvantage of solvency claim and so utterly fallacious as prior to their relevant raises. The question is the degree to which they solve it. The risk of solvency is so small that it's possible that voting act actually makes the problems worse. Evaluating small risks and large impacts incentivize a flawed measure of deciding debates that kills effective policy analysis. Every internal link. First is the O'Neill evidence from a foreign affairs article that says Mexico needs to become more democratic and safe. But when I see it does not do that, it says they have to do it via a host of other reforms that are not the after the recommendations portion of this article says that they have to do a host of internal reforms of the security services, etc. But not about economic increase. It says that it might result in a climate war. They have zero evidence that that climate war would be effective or that it bridges the divide between developing and developed countries. Things like Copenhagen and the failure of particular countries to failure of Kyoto means that their internal economic is not capable of overwhelming this claim to ENS evidence on top of just being a news service and is not qualified. It's about current cooperation with their evidence that is already been institutionalized. U.S. and Mexico cooperate now, and they have no reverse possible evidence that that cooperation will stop absent the plans about interconnection between the U.S. and Canada. They have no part of this as they get Canada on board between the entirety of North America, which is the internal link to this argument. The NSM says cooperation exists now in the title of the article that the U.S., Canada, and Mexico are currently vowing to do a grid. So it proves that either A, the vow is not effective, and the plan does not solve, or B, that vow is effective, and the status quo solves. The wood evidence or in the cross-sects are all in causality. They don't solve. I'm going to read the evidence here. Wood is sensitive to public question and interconnected market. They're still lacking on the flex and renewable resource across the region and governments and regulatory regimes within and between countries remains an obstacle. Comprehensive study is available. Talking is this lack of development to be explained by thinking of issues related to oil, the absence of any consideration due to the absence of hydrocarbons, a lack of awareness on the part of the executive branch, the absence of financial incentives. Their author concludes in 2012 they don't solve voting while there's no interconnection between the national revenue expert right now, the Mexico, the national various brigades of the world, those comments of effort and limited the number of interconnections across the border market. The border, there's no card that they're both necessary and sufficient to catalyze emission reductions from Moscow. It's about 300 ppm, which is something that they don't solve. Warming is inevitable. There's a light evidence to get the oceans and several recent studies demonstrate that CO2-induced warming is inevitable and should have triggered the 300 ppm evidence that the more used evidence is about, which is from 2009, someone named Carol Moore, who's not qualified to raise a crazy tipping website about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. They've also conceived the argument that passes often on an awesome chapter today. Reverse voting nation and a reason why you should lose the power. Get China on board with coal and natural gas are overwhelmingly cheap in China. They have no evidence that renewables are cost competitive, so they don't solve that advantage. China evidence in China and India board is critical to solve. There's no warning in the status quo of the east. So what evidence says there's been cooling since the 1980s. You should before evidence was like satellite data and said that it is cooling in the status quo. Reserve is based on a false concession to you. Should evaluate the science as opposed to the other arguments now. But now the shunning case. The decision to engage in Mexico is not to be proven and shunning is calculated and to reject Mexico's human rights violations and shunning the sole moral action of development to the choice about the ethicality of you and your character. Is it carrying an outbreak of human being before voting nay? Be prepared to look at the families of the 140 children that have just simply disappeared because of the violent actions of the security forces in the eyes and tell them that the creation of some commission is more important than the daughter, but they can no longer hug and talking to bed at night. The reverse is evidence is negative. Evidence that says shunning is the only way to reinstate morality. Voting act really recreates immoral behavior. The government provides economic incentive for ongoing and unending violence before impacted is the most probable defenses with or high magnitude calculations. They require a series of internal links together them that are inherently more probabilistic. Not every answer is apply along the way to case and decision. The team prioritizes every ethical consideration. The fiat never leaves the room. The question of what we do in this particular debate, they say shunning fills up. The plan creates an overwhelming economic incentive for more human rights violations and says it will give you money for the adoption of removal. The only shunning says that we should not give a historical example. Do not find any context in Mexico. The reverse evidence was negative evidence, which was all set above the Nike shoes. At least I don't buy all of my clothes at J. Crew, which Cam does. Everything costs a lot of money. Fiat is also external to your personal experience. Only evaluate our arguments in intellectual and production sequencing means shunning. But it's not to do the board 95 percent of the one different moments for minutes of the deals from CD. Unmasked evil doers now. The relations demand. All of the rights arrangements will be banned by within the other levels as a reduction in Mexico's democratic values and economic comprehension. Its political stability coupled with the changes in drug cartel can Mexico's ability to be a regional leader. They don't solve that compromise fact the people of the Republic of China should not expand to the Americans as legitimate for the reasons on the reasons on the other page of cooperation is high now. They don't solve one and the first one says that they're going to host a comics of Germany, Argentina, Ecuador, and Peru, their faction of appreciation since in the 2008 Indian diplomatic crisis groups in perfect time. Barnett since the 2008 was not sufficient to cause economic crimes, so they're doing trolling to me. Zarman of Powell since they're doing trolling to terrorism. Their evidence is block the border resisting the government, not capable of solving other piece of evidence that they have rights that there needs to be a new deal and that the U.S. political system is currently dysfunctional with some of the not capable of resolving the other piece of evidence that they have rights that the relations are structurally inevitable and status quo internally border security says because of economic integration and relations will never class merit initiative and things like that failure to prove that either they're empirically denied or necessarily resent the economy's time status quo. So there's no risk in internal entity, no internal entity economy and didn't already uniqueness right that is reverse positive this collapses at all, positive collapses at all possible in the status quo now. The topicality of the economic rights technical systems on renewable energy development Mexico plan might be energy engagement that is independently not economic engagement right that and fixes in terms of our economic engagement solely and exclusively the direct economic lens of all the nearly affects the economy cause hundreds of acts that they're going to engage with within the future directly engagement for our domestic policy and regular need affect directly on U.S. markets and thus world markets of the concept states hundreds of different programs limit how it works with the depth of education practice and analytical because multiple ways one is the name of primary research to support our main academic lawyers that better activates decision making skills by forcing well-armed understanding second shallow debates unlimited time for cheating counterpoint based on activity about shallow debates that educational authorities they call the topic just giving the discussion and there's a whole new literature based on ensures lectures college topic just gets replicated on the high school topic that brings a holistic understanding of what economic engagement is. The first piece so we need evidence that it includes agro-processing, sustainable development, infrastructure, mining, beneficiation, pharmaceutical, information communication technology, which proves our limits and proves that they focus on the means and not ends of what constitutes economic engagement. The formats of it, they don't meet this interpretation where the distinction between energy policy and energy. Self-deserves also admits that it's not government to government, which is correct for what plays and is not commonly linked to our limits here with gas metal, with all the raw energy is its own. Topic you're arguing about Mexico is a question of a better normative vision of its topic, regardless of what our resident government is in the context of adversaries. It still applies to how we find economic engagement and principle in inclusive and an exclusion vision of its topic, which is the internal of particularity or performance of might be from the State Department, but that does not mean it is the holy grail of what constitutes the quality integration economic interpretations are more all research from the government defines things in lots of ways. Resting for an article that is the consensus of all government, consensus of all government definitions to be the internal limits to be a list of what is and is not topical creates a predictable birthline and authors and attempt to define where there is, but it's not literature, it's not check, because there's literally literature on everything from the CGBG to wedding cakes to the mac and cheese when I do wed, the mac and cheese context and reasonability, you're not reasonable to cause a judgment or anything with the data takes beta B, debaters can take close pre-round preparation, which is an independent discipline interpretation to be prepared round before what we think is objectively topical and not topical.
Alright, now let's say a couple things about that. The first thing I want to do is make sure you all understand the definition of speed. Okay, there are some of you in this room that could have spoken faster than what Papa just did on a sheer number of words per minute. However, if any of you have hands that are cramping right now, you understand that the true definition of speed is the number of ideas per minute effectively communicated that the judge will accept the opponent to respond to. The number of ideas per minute effectively communicated that the judge will expect the opponent to respond to. Even when Pappas was kicking out of positions, he was making arguments. Even when he was kicking out of arguments, he was creating risk if the other team did not go to the sheet of paper and address it. And despite the fact that some of you in this room can speak faster than Pappas, every one of the arguments that he made was incredibly important for a potential 2-0. Meaning that his overall speed was way, way faster than a lot of people who give 2NCs and just go really fast from arguments that aren't relevant to the debate. Number 2, what is unique about this 2NC? What did he do twice?
Took everything.
Counterplans. 2 new counterplans into 2NC. Demonstrating he's not afraid of a theory debate. He's ready for a theory debate. He's starting a theory debate. He has teams. He has 2 new counterplans. He's changing the scope of the decision of the debate as it occurs to create the strategic advantages he needs. And he's doing that with the full knowledge that the 1AR is going to have to be the one to try to re-raise and prove why that's not fair. Now, last but not least, you will notice that it is a very, very diverse 2NC. He has communicated the case to the best of his ability. He has shunning, which could be a single sheet of paper option all by itself if he wants it to be, and he has T. And the 1AR in this debate has a nightmare. The 1AR can't force the 2R to be what they want it to be, which is oftentimes the best strategy in the 1AR to create the 2R. They can't do that as easily in this debate as a result of it. So let's do some cross-X.
Cool, let's talk about topicality. I want to talk about your doesn't mean counter-interpretation argument. There's a distinction between energy policy and energy. Can you explain to me that distinction in the context of our evidence?
I mean, in the context of your evidence, energy policy is something that is broader and more all-encompassing.
So what do I have to
No,
do?
let me answer.
That's fine.
Energy is something like stuff that gets extracted from coal, natural gas, burns in a nuclear plant. Energy policy is everything that goes into energy policy on top of it.
Right, so explain that in the context of economic community.
Well, in the context of your interpretation, your evidence is about energy policy, which is more multifaceted than solely a focus on energy.
That's fine. Let's talk about your government definition from Resnick. Can you explain to me where you're arriving at the conclusion that Resnick wrote a paper that is accepted by everybody in the government?
I mean, it's not accepted by everyone in the government. My argument was really that academic definitions are good, and Resnick wrote an article in 2001.
Right, and how do you know?
His interpretation, Horstman's interpretation, possibly Sullivan's interpretation.
Let's talk about
together and make his own interpretation of what is predictable on the topic.
Okay. Let's talk about shunning. Economic incentive for human rights violations because we provide incentives for renewable energy. Explain to me that first.
Well, first, I think that question raises the question of what is and is not ethical in this
No,
case.
it really doesn't. I'm asking you for the internal link to your ethics.
So there's an internal link to that ethics claim, but there's one internal to this debate about the introduction of the ethics argument, which is something that you had no answer to.
You're filibustering and not
I'm
saying
not all filibustering. I would
let's talk about how renewable energy
Yes.
gets more human rights
When we
violations.
engage Mexico, it gives them the idea that what they have done is acceptable. When we say Mexico, no, what you have done is a human rights violation, we will not talk to you. They might
So let me get this right.
but the
Renewable
US
energy is a human rights violation.
Well, no, we found out here. What Mexico does to its people is a human rights violation, and the idea that economically separate ourselves from Mexico is something that provides them an incentive, because our economies are so large.
That is fine. 300 ppm. Can you explain to me where you think your warming medical card costs up to 300 ppm threshold?
It doesn't, but actually, 175, Morgan says 300, the oceans have always
And you read a bunch of evidence about that, right?
I mean, your Morgan evidence is about the threshold. The 25 ppm is something that our evidence says is likely to occur. It doesn't use the number of 25 ppm, but it says the ocean has soaked up so much CO2 that it will inevitably be released into the atmosphere and trigger the impact of warming.
That's it. Okay, cool. Let's talk about the critique. How did you get that critique?
I can tell you every argument I made.
I want to know specifically about the offense. Why don't the impact curves still apply?
So two things. One, you can see that neoliberalism is inevitable, so even if it's good, it currently exists.
Okay, so
Secondly,
even if the economic order collapses, you'll confirm that neoliberalism is still inevitable?
neoliberalism is inevitable. You conceded that argument.
Right.
I preempted just about every argument you could make, though, because you've introduced Germany and the economy as a free-flowing
Okay.
policy that divides us across extension. You came back away from that. Come on. It's fine.
Nice, feisty process. What happens when you get people on your own squad? Imagine if you do that with somebody on your own squad. One thing to note though is, inevitably when someone talks, you do need some way to interrupt. And there's a lot of ways you can do that non-verbally. You can sort of do things to make sure it's clear it's your turn to talk. Or, if you can, if Bob doesn't want to stop talking, you can say, Thomas, that's enough. That's enough. Let's stop. Let's move on to the questions and try to get the process back under control from your perspective. The danger you have when you ask someone a question that is open-ended rather than a yes-no. So an open-ended question is how, what, why questions. Is that the line between how long they get to answer is generally not clear. If you ask somebody, how did you kick out of something, you let them explain whatever they had. If you say yes, no, you would agree you did the following, right? Then that requires them to have a more closed answer for you to say yes or no to. You can't master using both open-ended and leading questions in that process to get to where you need to go. Okay, so now we have the one and off. Have some paperless jumping occurring. While that's going on, look down at what your flows are versus what you predicted. Did anyone have a prediction that was different than what we had? Some people, yeah. What would you have done differently? You right there. Yeah, too. Yeah. In the 2 and C? And the K, so? And T. Okay. Okay, cool. So 2 DAs with some C. And the K. There's been a big one. Did anybody have deal with it? 8 minutes? Deal with it? You all know? Yeah, you can always find a cake later. Nothing with you. Oh, you can see a whole lot. 15 minutes of study. About to hear one and all apologies, yes? Somebody write down the top of your clothes how many cards total you think will be in the one and all.
Over 9,000.
See if you guess the closest to what will actually happen. Yes.
Me too, yeah. I don't really care.
So guess what?
You're just so damn popular. Yeah. Adorable.
All right then. We are good. Go ahead and all set our timers for 6 minutes.
6 minutes. I really took it 6.
Counter plan and then politics and
What's counter plan? Another flow.
All right, we ready?
No! Is this what now you're like whenever you Yeah. This is worse actually.
We're starting on conditionality. Okay? And you're starting on conditionality, but Sarah wants to make it clear since it's been enough time on conditionality, you're not going to do sheet for it. Is that fair assessment? Yes. So good. Alrighty then. Let us begin.
Conditionality, counter-interpretation, negative is whatever means instigate. Second is education, oppositional politics, political accuracy, and such processing multiple sound exclusive and voice conclusion only. Conditionality allows that because the laws of comparison contradictory. Policy is real education outweighs because of future citizens and what we can be. It says policy actions are ordinary for argumentation. It's really to articulate policy to sound which is key. To rationality and concept analysis C is research, argumentative diversity, philosophy, aptitude, and does research because of threat, muscle, future advocacy research. It's key to education third. Experience A, negative flexibility, median. Physical plans of multiple angles, which is key to parents B. No school or counter reality, but negative communication and non-conditional advocacy. So C, no impact of pressure, which is C is about strategic choice and time pressure is better. We repeat that author's critical thinking, and we don't have to win often. There's a distinction between making things challenging and making it impossible. This that. This action states 8.2 economy, not indicates the AR to the long-term economic growth and competitiveness. Only our action provides unique to the economy. It's a time now because workers aren't paying taxes. Showing up businesses and communities are suffering from lack of skilled workers. This is inevitable. Without CAR, not the app and prefer essence Mexico. Energy is not due to the U.S. economy. Only our evidence is specific to the U.S. and The FCRSP, Northern South our competitors in history, hostile rivals in this country, won't need us anymore more. As concerns the economy, only our efforts to first puzzle over it all, 320. That is decisions about economic optimization or decisions that will be impressed with an economic future donor and tax revenues that will also further about the absence of immigration from the tax reform as a sooner. We try to look at decisions greater and not benefits for our nation and productivity and which gives up to the economy because members had to further their consumers and taxpayers spending within the economy to yield for 1.4 trillion and for relations they are the single most important nation for a stat and 12. The mentioned efforts of the immigration reform is vital for relations between the two countries. Tax reform is not, I don't think, but it's important that it's supposed to be by our bilateral relations giving immigration reform rating and for informing shortage of high-tech workers now submit and 12. Starting not there in the call that appears because of shortage of temporary worker visas and CARSP to sound worker infusion Jones 13. These will be provided by graduate professionals in science, technology, engineering, mathematical research, of immigration laws, business, and workforce policy, and reform, for comprehensive immigration reform, and solve forming Norris and Jenkins 9. If they're limited to focus on cognitive and listening on beyond the represent, one of the most important titles for creating clean energy, and lots of criteria for hygiene, is what the core technological innovation is seen as, here's absolutely technology as converting clean energy sources to avoid, having capacity, creating new economy must unleash our forces of innovation and they say 8 now, turns 8 now takes out their links or not, our links there, as their bipartisanship link says foreign aid is popular. That is not the plan. Their evidence is not able to Mexico second. Our union is evidence post-states and assumed status quo foreign aid third. Their evidence doesn't seem the magnitude of our foreign aid doesn't cost calculated no. Evidence that Obama gets blamed for foreign aid is done. For USAID and fourth, we're going to plan specific links. You should still go negative. Obama reducing aid to Latin America, now Meyer and Sullivan, until the Obama administration foreign aid will have to continue to conduct and respect Latin America, I think there will be less than 9% of the system third. Next question is capital 9 P air negative R1 and T means evidence indicates the arrow has not a total map. Is T a public sector GOP both which is T and Obama's PCC to overcome GOP opposition AFP 612. Obama says until we get to the bill president Jones to go from over from the Obama we will never see the issue. Not wondering if likely to be in the spot. Just not concerned for Republican race of the political, so the comes out of very simple. Their next argument is private thunder, air negative. They conceded our 1 and C need this claim cold cap is a question of sufficiency. Obama has enough capital now to get CIR. That's our Bennett evidence. Our evidence assumes climate change target postings by 2 days ignorant faith and immigration reform is top priority top 4 9. Immigration reform is looking on the agenda and these things again when they have been trying to work in the middle of that and the last country on the local and climate change won't hurt capital road 613 without the whole 35 because of the political railroad and one hard to keep track of what's involved. Then there's the woman's not really definitely something immigration law not to start that and the decision is about something to look at 5 and 29. For one of the best immigration the Russian and the Union, while ours for the law is actually in the for part of this year. Their next evidence is unique to extend our 1 and C evidence. The IR will pass into the bipartisanship and no Mexico will pass more evidence will pass genome and 29. The synthetic immigration street pressure for being happily allowed to the house to knock the last before the major the major of the house to support the major Republican and momentum leaders in 20 only pass the hospital like they're strong, but the commitment to the victims of the sheet based on the immigration of this conversation of having most of the points for all our country and think about the country there is and by the Senate Justice and GOP will compromise leadership 30. Both of us immigration from the everyone and those of us who are the members of Congress will do great for the country and contact us in the public will leadership and Boehner will leave or else we go to 30. Boehner was living off with an immigration from one of the military and consumer, the particular health and rights of the Boehner has a little majority for the second and household and pass the citizenship will pay 630. Boehner also brought up something for the immigration tax and money constitution for the future house pass with another bill for now the video, but this is my parents for household day. Say as a whole to prefer because it speaks to Obama with the population Hamilton 326. This one said he was people to have the 100 how to talk to the aliens on the power and so forth. My bad. Go back to vote now. First vote yes, second your interpretation feels negative ground. We can't know politics is bad or passion is better. First, let's go for showing which everyone probably doesn't use that. Turn. Extend our 1 and 2 link evidence with plans closely devices because it's perceived as helping Mexico's economy before the U.S. is set. As our book says, the increase of plans specifically cause capital CFR until the 2-year requirements to maintain those features.
Alright. You know, with every good politics baby does, that overview is nasty. Lots and lots of cards, lots and lots of ways to turn the case, lots and lots of big stuff going on in the overview. 100% of the cards in the line by line. How many people predicted the same amount or more cards than the rest?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Here's the hard part. Talk with your partner sitting next to them. If you were given this 1A off, what order and how long? What order would you put the flows in and how long would you spend on each position? Okay, now you've decided your order. Now you've decided how much time. Now you need to tell me how many cards you're going to read on each position in the 1A. Look at the flows and write down the number of cards you're going to read in the 1A. Okay, now you've decided the order of the cards. Raise your hand if conditionality is something you're going to go for.
You heard it? Oh, yeah.
Alright, we got a lot of time though, we're going to happen. For those of you all that are going to go for conditionality, where is it in your order? Is it towards the front or towards the back? Towards the front, raise your hand. Towards the back, raise your hand. Alright, let's see what this 1AR chooses to do. Very, very interesting. Okay! The 1AR is about to begin. Try your hardest, don't forget, don't give up on floating. Alright, set your timers for 6 minutes. Nice and slow in order, Kyle. Let's hear it. Alright. First, the case, the order of warming and then release. Following that, dip cap this out.
Wait, what?
Key.
Is that still on the round?
Johnny. Deal liberalism. Counterland. Conditionality. Where's the combo going to be? Can you tell that? You're going to be on up the top. That's, I don't know. Yeah, alright, one more time. Alright, take it around again. Orbit. Relations. Dip cap EA. Key economic behavior. Shunning. Neoliberalism. State counterclaim conditionality at the top. And policy.
Yep.
Alright. Let's go.
We shall orient access to new levels, syndicate with the field, create national trees and agreements for reduced farming plan, raise growth and solve drugs, solve more supply, metro could be able to be able to leadership and other positions, vaccine involved on the national scale, the major influence in G20 and other major developing economies, the current cooperation insufficiently mischaracterized our cooperation is declining now. That's the first of the exercises about vaccines, about Canada cooperation, probably inevitable, and resilience was already integrated. The current cooperation between the US and Mexico is not is necessary in order to create access and innovation to get best with energy protection. We're not accessing right now. Only all causes are relevant. I don't like to know. And the absence of incentives for students to plan already saw all the studies that are obviously already done. The plan is necessary. The global momentum is one plan creates capacity and eliminates the planning game that's going on right now. The book evidence of what evidence are authored and includes the plans that starting with the Maslow's and Romans making up the threshold arguments of the plans keeping rest momentum via creating renewables to get rid of coal, make it less expensive because we create innovation that allows us to lower the price threshold for the implementation of renewable energy transition capacity. Morgan evidence is different. Morgan is PhD in science. The trying to pull argument is relevant because we create innovation that allow China's transition to major China change corporations instead of food. Again, as a result of the cooling argument is ridiculous. No credible scientific concludes the major consensus of the credible ones that concludes that there's more going on now relations. China or China, so I don't know if it's now when he has Yes, there's a right to intervene the truth, confidential, doesn't the additional voluntary before we talk about from the state's current plan, Latin America's impacts on 59 congenital plan is pretty good fail safe, would make it evermore catastrophic the border because we saw security spillover, which is this to prevent nuclear terror that's going to call everything coming through the south of the border when the plan is going to prevent the secure economic, we don't create the stimulus to run all there at this time, mutual energy, North American energy connections, relations are not able to place necessary economic integration, the job of the plan E, stepping up on the road, and the curse of security focus guarantees that relations are able to raise 7 cities in the playing to be the campus that India is not checking back to West China solutions for the state in the state. We now talk how we need their tradition to get economic systems to help develop their economy. There's no reason everything is not economic. There's no damn sense you should split. You should just stick them to be one and see how some parts are arbitrary and this and transportation, aid trade, and energy solve all of the requirements don't away when there are leaders all the first arguments they just don't want to debate. This act is a chilling effect on act research. It's unfair because they can accept your risk that the act doesn't mean second act innovation, flexibility, and the golden area for access to great aid, competence and great scale addiction. There's precision, which is something they don't have an answer to. Their evidence is all based on adversaries like Venezuela and Cuba, not about Mexico. Applying to Mexico is bad because we always don't apply sanctions to them and have a different form and way of engaging. Also, the Department of State agrees this part of 12 economic engagement response trading doesn't need to focus on energy for greater opportunity cooperation. Prefer precision in the context of the federal government because it's in the topic, so it applies to the aid that the federal government is giving. The rest of it isn't based on government. He's making that up out of thin air. The defense energy to make sure they don't reproduce college pieces of inevitable innovation. All the same ground applies their interpretation like college didn't have, etc. We also agree before this out, which is very acceptable time reasonability. It's good because good and good is good enough to involve people to create slightly better interpretation of the debate. Now shutting creates worse human rights violations. Whose lives are ruined by lack of access to energy, poverty, and right now it's an independent voting issue. No matter what voting issue, the plan is more than great immigration is able to solve that. Also, the plan creates incentives for groups in here because we focus on economic development, which causes makes it less likely to use the military in fighting the drug war because we resolve it in other ways. Militarism should be preferred. We should do for the greatest number. Also, nuclear war and any kind of conflict will create worse human rights violations. Voting negative is comparatively more and more optionality. If you're going to accept non-unique effects, you also have to accept our impact. Also, last use a unique impact because trade and platform will regulate plans that hurt and grows evidence only periodically contain, create a damper for all accomplish the future of the plans of democracy, which solve the shunning argument, reduces human rights violations in the long term. Now, the state's terms like conditionality to voting issue, especially when you're voting, you know how many episodes you're reading the tweet, you can't use my thought you can't go for war, or you can go for war, or you don't apply to the chilling effect in Africa, and then eventually in terms of people think these cover option F, always negative plus negative bias, the topic is structurally inevitable. So we see focus on should be the focus of affairs. Anyway, premium research also the diverse argumentation, education, consideration should be the best arguments is key to class nutriency counterpoints are an independent voting issue. Even if the other arguments don't apply, these increasing incredible 1 hour stress. I'm giving my best evidence through comparative analysis. Any other, sorry, we're going to apologize. Doesn't support any portion of the case, doesn't actually economy of place create international energy market open up that's key to look like the English demonstrates over the place of the term relations to plan brings the only entry point to dominate the energy has to be that starting point. It doesn't turn hegemony. This is a question of competitors. This is a question of who access to the economy better the plan. So the perception of the economy doesn't clear about evidence anyway. The workers are not key to solve. Moving the BCC evidence indicates that Mexico is the only way to create durable cooperation on an international scale as well as only tapping their energy potential is able to solve. Now the unique fiscal confidence is GOP says no because they know the majority. If they say it's tantamount to amnesty, the way they're going for a second is Bader is a no-go. The Butler evidence piece won't pass any major no won't pass individual bills. There's no path to citizenship that doesn't solve any other arguments that can see at the bottom that the current bill doesn't include high school immigration, won't include pass citizenship, it solve relations, or if there are other impacts that give evidence in case of Obama XO, and he changed the DREAM, the DREAM Act, there's no impact either way. Also, we have the link for evidence on the topic of Bader, which they didn't answer. Bader loves economic engagement and creating free markets. Only the plan is able to do that. Gets them on board with laws and bring immigration to the floor. Obama's political capital is not key to her show. This is fantastic. Political capital with journalistic sensationalism. Obama has no leverage or leverage or relationship. Obama doesn't use the DC vote deal. Often saying it's true that the world is people that's how these very films work for life. See, no public world major religion control things so like people Obama for nothing with people
Pretty good. Exactly 2 minutes on the dot on the case. We extend both the case advantages. It's in them well enough. We have credible credit to cut the 2
C test, no break, basically the politics being a 2 and R. It's a big tough fight in that case. In addition to that, quickly move to the dip cap, a solid 35 seconds on condo, right on the money, make sure that's an option form. T, I got it clocked at about 1:04 from where I did, right on T, with a new piece of evidence right on T, which is key in a way like this, and then abundance of time on politics. You'll notice that the 1 hour politics did not fall for the trap of trying to do politics in the order of the block. Instead, what did the 1 hour do? In the order of the priority from the 2AC that he wanted, including sometimes jumping down to the bottom of the flow to extend something to go back up and pick up in the 2AC order. A lot of 1 hours drop stuff because they just do it in the order of the block rather than doing it in order of their own priority. And Kyle did a phenomenal job of that. It was even reading carved on the timer went off. Excellent sign. All in all, an excellent 1 hour. So now, there's the question. You are the true and all. What are you going to go for? Take a moment and figure it out.
I think it would mostly be politics at this point. What about you guys? Ignacio, what would you do?
Okay.
You wanna?
Not bad. Alright, let's hear it. Okay. What do you take your head for?
I was gonna say, I don't know if you should wait for a second. I think she might step down first. It might be a second.
Are you telling me we should proceed? I think you already said yes.
Yeah, I'm saying that you should just proceed.
Val says proceed.
Okay, I agree. Running, politics, just kidding. Warming, shunning, power plan, heat.
Warming, shunning, CPT, is that what he said?
Warming, shunning, conditionality, fluency, power plan. My favorite position in all of debate. Warming vacancy because of my cooking skills and everything. Put in the mac and cheese off for reverse voting issue. No reason they should lose up. Shunning case. This argument is not a moral voting issue. One of the theoretical questions we're seeing. Every question is substantive. The question is the normativization of what you allow in this. Particular debate community. The link merely proves this. You cannot quantify what is and is not ethical. The link goes both ways. And there's no discursive implication in this particular debate. We have introduced the argument which proves the unnatural ethical and then the Tommy Cody argument should proceed in any now conditionality argument. Tommy Cody comes before every theory question. He merely moved because you pushed him to be read a bunch of comments and the opponent was not confident, not something that responded to what the topic was about. They were an about energy, which is not at all about economic engagement. Second, is the stock issue, a reason why you should lose consider the jurisdiction argument from the student to one of these stock issues. Remember the shits from the first day of novice day. Violated one in theory is not one of those shits. This is interesting arbitrary, something like arbitrary and standard is the reason why you should not vote in a theoretical argument. We will concede the argument about bringing around the views. We have internal links from this argument based on our reasonability standard. There's only a limited interpretation enables pre-round preparation with internal links all conditionality off of mutually economists and not into the counter-interpretation only. The response to these arguments that dramatically limits the amount of counterpoints that they would have to do. The deterrence does not spill over into T. It's a question of something based evidence. The deterrence applies to the theory of T, but not to the question of theory. Theory coming before T is utterly ludicrous, and that argument had to be based on the 1 hour. The drawing of the lines of the 1 hour is particularly important in that case. Now, topicality, ideals, Neo. I think they thought that it was an energy topic and not a topic about economic engagement. The 1AC bill can pull out that they have never a single card in the whole 1AC that uses the term of art, which is what the resolution is about economic engagement. So they should de facto lose, and you should vote negative on presumption because they have not a damn card about what their answers are. A couple conceded arguments. One is they conceded that offense defense is the way which you should evaluate this debate. It's the only objective method of determining who is topical and who is not topical. You are either topical or you are not. It's a question of who is a more limited interpretation of the topic, which is something only our interpretation accesses. The 1 hour secondly made the jamming concession that the breadth of education is inevitable. Debate is a technical game, and this is a technical game that you have lost. The breadth of education is inevitable. The course of your multiple debates on and only your information facilitates pedagogical depth as you learn about something over and over. The context of our particular debate so activates decision-making skills about making a choice towards academic engagement, so it gives us a way of holistically understanding what constitutes the topic. As you can see, the side-by argument from conditionality then, there's a massive reform. The side-by go more toward the resolution does not mean anything. Also, the word Cuba and Venezuela, there's like a Cuba, Missouri, and a Cuba, Wisconsin, so actually conceivably do that. Short means in the direction of, you know what it is, the direction of the North Pole, because you can go around it to get back to Mexico. So as a result, the side-by is important. Only Factulty is capable of resolving that right now. The first we need argument first is this is an evidentiary question. Where the only evidence that the intent to define this is scholarly formation that necessarily excludes their form of data, and then the one is the evidence is not exclusive. I beg to differ. The one is evidence that it is exclusively this is based on an academic definition conducted in Lithuania in 2010, which was a consensus of all the academics about what constitutes academic engagement. It doesn't must solely be explicitly directly linked to economics. There is a conflation between means and the end. We have to focus on means and not what the end result is. So energy affects the economy, but so does lots of stuff. The tortilla industry affects the economy, and does my consumption of coffee at the Espresso Royale, where I don't give them $1.96 every day. They have said arbitrary predictability raises the question of limits internal of their predictability. Office is a smaller topic, is a topic that is by definition more predictable. So as a result, there's a sequencing plan, and only we access their office. The counter-interpretation debate, there is a damning concession that means they cannot win this debate. They have conceded they cannot meet their counter-interpretation. That is day one says you have to meet your counter-interpretation. There is about energy policy, which is broader than the idea of energy. Your card defines energy when they are energy policy, which means they don't need any good or negative or jurisdiction argument. The next argument is chilling effect. Wow, Kyle really likes the word chilling effect. I'm not sure what that particular argument means, but our interpretation is vital to any form of research, which he is himself impacted on. Conditionality is a limited topic, encourages research rather than just putting out a few bad things and say, throwing it at the wall. See what section 101 of the truancy Jarrett evidence is the very inclusion justifies anything. The tangential impacts the economy, which blows the lid off the top and undermines types of education, results in arguments that are horribly terrible. The activation argument one is this was a new argument that should be stricken from your flow. The one error's burden was to justify why that argument should be included. Second, that advantage innovation is better than new formative innovation because it forces you to take existing policy and make that existing policy better as a result of just reading a slew of bad new affirmative that seems that the end of the year at the TOC will be the one app about one random aid program, which is not tolerable. The tolerable version of the app argument solves all of our offerings. They can provide assistance. It's not about energy, and they explicitly consider our topic shifty, and we learn about energy instead of economic engagement. This is not the energy topic. This is not the renewable energy topic. I took that in college all of last year. That has nothing to do with this. So they undermine the educational potential of what this topic can be, which is how we relate to policy in Latin America, which is something that they, by definition, assert. They have said that they are more precise. The Resident interpretation is a lot more precise. Their evidence is from one random dude at the State Department. Since one is the State Department, the whole federal government, they've also conceded that academic definitions are better because our authors maybe done the requisite study about every interpretation of the word. It's a crafted one that is both inclusive, exclusive, and predictable vision of topic. We don't have to look at it anyway. It's limits internal interest. All the reasons why precision is important in the first place. There's no definition of it, so you should reject it. They also don't need it because the Hormats evidence is not the solely of the federal government. They say it's not a repetition of a college topic. They force a discussion of energy. Are you kidding me? This argument is utterly ridiculous. It means college go just give people their energy back. And all of high school debate is forever corrupted. This is the economic engagement topic, not the topic about energy policy, which is what their formative is. Reasonability raises the question of whether they are reasonable. If you listen to my speech, it proves that they are not a cause of judge intervention. No, but one argument answer that it also kills pre-round preparation, which is the gist of the interpretation, and the reason why they cannot win this debate. Woo!
Comment on the ticket to the seminar because you're officially in judging mode. What I do want you to do is think through if you were actually judging this debate. And you just heard that seminar, it is prep time before the 2AR. What would you look for on your flow for the 2AR to do? Start thinking through what speech the 2AR has to give for you to vote add on T. Start doing that calculation in your head right now, and you will find that you will have a better understanding of what the 2AR does do and not about the 2AR could do.
They go on condo. No, because I mean, I'm not arguing with the teacher because they're pick it up and
sites up on the board so you can read the evidence on your own on your computer. You all have copies of the evidence, so if you want to look at the evidence before you make a decision, you can go and do that. One other note, the second the 2 hours is over with, we're going to give a round of applause, and then we're going to take an exactly 15-minute break. You can go to the bathroom, get some coffee, whatever it is, and then come back to the room after that 15 minutes is over with and start working on your ballot. So exactly 15 minutes when the 2 hours stops. Round of applause, go take a break, and then come back, and then we'll get set up, okay? Even better, Kyle is going to compile a central document and put it on the Facebook page, so you can go there and get it and see the actual highlighting of the ad, okay?
All right, everybody ready? Here's how we go.
All right then.
Okay, really good.
Habits is 2 NR is really pretty good. They also set up a standard from one standard to evaluate in the round and to an impact from the article at the top that should frame the way that you decide this entire debate. Education outweighs this means that if we prove that we have a better educational version of the topic, you vote for us. Fairness and limits are only internal links to education, which means that education is the only internal impact of the debate, which means we can supersede their limits impact because they're only questions of fairness. We can rearrange the rules of debate to get the most educational topic. This makes arbitrary limits bad because they're not specific to the literature base, which means we don't get relevant interaction. The point of topicality debate is to limit the topic to what makes us better policy advocates in the real world. Habits is extended no real world impact to topicality, which means that this is the only impact that you can evaluate. Deterrence arguments are totally irrelevant. We conceded on the conditionality flow. We are not going to not read topic laws in the future just because it's relevant to the literature base. So is conditionality, that doesn't make it any different for topicality. That extends zero warrant for this argument. Additionally, disafter their interpretation versus link term to limits. I'm going to read a portion of Josciati 10 evidence. First, economic engagement is development with the adversary. That is the piece of 1C evidence that he reads as an interpretation in the T debate. You should have that on your book. Next is the Wesnick evidence. The negative is unlimited. Wesnick lists 13 acronyms, including sports. I will read another quote. Extension of diplomatic recognition, visits of military officials, confidence and security building measures, loans, grants, sports, artistic, academic exchanges. Pappas we could have read an app to deploy soccer troops into Brazil or something. It also excludes Mexico. Economic engagement only applies with adversaries. That's our Wesnick one evidence indicates engagement develops a relationship culminating in normalized relations. This
takes Mexico entirely out of the topic, which is obviously bad education from the Latin and South America topic. Additionally, second is activation. The limits are they limit you to big stick apps, and this is the only portable skill. Activation is critical to thinking of new arguments on the top of your head, which is the only educational and skills impact around package reads. No internal link defense or offense, which means that this is a conceded dissent to his interpretation. Third is proof of the precision. I've read two quote from Rhetoric Evans that indicate that they exclude Mexico because their definition of the definition of economic engagement is only about engagement with adversaries, which is obviously a bad interpretation of the topic because it takes out Mexico. That is an internal link turn to predictability, and the only internal link to predictability because it literally excludes a topic country, which is probably a bad threshold for debate. The next, they have no threshold for what is topical. Reasonability applies to we need and the counter-interpretation. Pappas does not set up what it means to be a topical app. We're the only ones doing that. We must provide aid, trade, and enrich and reform to topic countries. That is not an unlimited interpretation. There's also no topical version of the app. It's a double bind. Either it takes out or limits predictability, rather than Pappas could think of it, or it does not solve the affirmative, which means it's not a topical version of the app. Go to the we need debate. Here's a rhetorical question for you. What is direct economic engagement? Pappas sets up no threshold for what it means to be direct. If it is give money, we do that. If it is give technical expertise, we do that. He has conceded the means of the plan. We will concede the means versus ends distinction. That this is not defined about Pappas explicitly conceded it is not about the end industry that the money goes to, which means that it's not an energy topic, it is an economic engagement topic. We provide trade grants and expertise for the energy sector. Everything that comes out of support should be stricken from more flow, because it does not matter that we engage the energy sector, it matters that we engage the Mexican government in a bilateral energy commission through economic means. That is a conceded framework of in the 2NR. You give no leeway to Pappas' 2NR. Good counter-interpretation main art means is how to explain that about additionally arbitrary limits, but that for predictability because they are not grounded in the literature base. This is a double bind. Either his limit is totally eliminated because of the case list that I gave you from the Resnick 1 and C evidence, or it is totally arbitrary, which jacks the only real impact around, which is predictable as unpredictable education. Additionally, they don't meet the counter-interpretation argument because it's energy policy, not energy, is total nonsense. Pappas is with you, and he thinks you're all stupid. There's no 2NR explanation of what the distinction between energy policy and energy is. Gut check doesn't make any sense. He says that Resnick studied every possible interpretation of economic engagement. He didn't study every word. He's a random author writing. There was no Resnick paper submitted to anywhere, and it's certainly not the consensus of all academics. That's totally and you know, we're the official Department of State policy, which is definitely more predictable than anything Pappas has read in this debate, especially not only because of the content of their interpretation, but because of who is writing, who's the limits they don't need to do it. But here, because he has conceded that his limits are arbitrary, his evidence excludes Mexico from the topic. I'm going to read the limits. We think this is a J card, it's an app card, it's a system engagement, so it doesn't assume economic engagement, and de facto makes every app actually topical because they have to engage through the effect of their actions. They have a U.S. market. Additionally, this evidence and the Resnick evidence is only specific to U.S. domestic policy, which is the distinction why we are not the energy topic. The energy topic was about domestic policy. This is the Latin America topic, economic engagement topic, which forces new innovation, takes out his background argument. He says that innovation is bad. This is pretty small and non-topical apps, but limited innovation is good. We define the needs, which means a productive limited education debate. It creates one energy app, possibly another one in Venezuela, but that's only two energy apps. Additionally, Latin American energy is distinct. I did that above. Go to reasonability of this. It's not arbitrary. It's a question of the literature-based grounding, which is a framing argument that Pappas has conceded. Sorry, my voice is cracking. There is also no standard of what is topical or not, which means you default to us on reasonability because it is the only standard. Competing interpretations would make sense if Pappas extended a coherent interpretation in violation. If you cannot answer the question for yourself of what is direct economic engagement under their interpretation without reading the cards because it wasn't in the 2NR, then you vote out.